Good morning. Welcome to our Facebook Central Texas College family. This is Eva Hutchins coming at you from Academic Advising. I just wanted to reach out to everybody out there in the virtual world and encourage you guys to consider our second 8-week classes for registration. So I've got a little bit of, so it's not just me talking, a little bit of a PowerPoint, and I'm also going to share some content with you guys online and give you some tips and tricks for registering for classes. I'm going to go ahead and start off with my PowerPoint, and that should be coming up here. All right, so we are going to go ahead and get started. Oops, I did the wrong one. All right, so fall online start dates. October 19th is the next online start date, and there's also going to be some second 8-week virtual synchronous classes. These classes are going to be at a certain day and time, but they will be virtual online from home. But those opportunities are out there for you guys in the second 8 weeks. So if you're ready to get started and you're ready to, if you haven't started yet, or if you're wanting to add some more for the fall and to keep your schedule going, then that opportunity is definitely out there. Just as a reminder, for classes to be financial aid eligible, they have to start and end in the same semester. So if you're looking at classes that begin October 19th, you want to check the end date. Make sure that end date falls in December or before the end of the year. Otherwise, if you were using financial aid and it went into January, you wouldn't have that financial aid paying for the class. Registration is through WebAdvisor, and it is good through October 18th, which is Sunday, and you can register online from home. If you're having any difficulty and you want to come up to campus, we'd be happy to help you register at the computers in Building 119. Or if you've made an appointment to see an advisor, they're going to help you, walk through that process as well. If you were to miss registration or something came up and you needed to add something, we do have late registration in the first week, and you can submit an eTrieve request if it's after the start date. You won't be able to add it on WebAdvisor, but you can add it through eTrieve if there are still seats in the course that you want. So I'm going to go ahead and move on to the ways you can contact us. And then after we do that, I'm going to share some web browsers and show you guys how to search on WebAdvisor and how to fill out that eTrieve form that I'm mentioning here. So here's our information. I'm going to leave this information up on the screen for just a moment if you want to take a capture of that or screenshot. You can always come back to the live Facebook page to look at the recording later as well. But our website there at the bottom has all of this information as well, and also the link for where you can go schedule an appointment with an advisor. We have 2 ways you can meet with advisors, which is face-to-face or through a virtual WebEx one-on-one meeting from your home. So just as a reminder, of course, face masks are required if you come in person. And it can only be the student coming back to sit with the advisor just due to social distancing. If you needed to bring a guest to your appointment, then we want you to schedule and book that through the virtual session. That way you could be at home and have that guest log in with you. If you needed a quick question answered and you wanted to hit us up on the chat, our chat link is there as well. And of course, our phone number, if you have any problems scheduling or questions, you can always reach out to the Academic Advising line there or email us either way. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and stop sharing this for just a moment. I'm going to go and share one of our web browsers here because I wanted to show you guys the registration piece and how to search. All right, so I think y'all are seeing my my internet browser here, so I'm just going to get it moved over. And it takes it a little second, so I apologize for any lag. All right, so this is our homepage, ctcd.edu, and you can do all of your registration online. Like I said, if you have any problems registering and you come up against a block or like, why isn't it letting me register? I'm going to show you how to do the e-form as well. But just to give you a quick idea of how to search for classes, once you hover over student tools, sometimes you have to let it sit there for a minute and then go down to where it says WebAdvisor. From here is where you can log into your account. And the login information is up here. I'm going to do a quick guest search just to show you what it's like to search for classes once you're logged in and looking at that. Again, if you have any issues or you need us to walk you through any of this process, give us a call. We'd be happy to walk you through this process. All right, so I was going to go ahead and search for Composition 1, ENGL 1301, and just show you what these different sections look like. This is what it's going to look like when you're searching for classes. So even though I'm not logged in as a student, it's still the same process. One of the things we always want to make sure you guys know is that you have to filter in order to make sure you narrow it down to what you are looking for. Otherwise, you're going to see quite a bit of offerings out there because we do have campuses and locations worldwide. That being said, filters are our friends, just like Instagram. So for October, if you're looking for an online course, that's going to be under our distance learning. If you're looking for a synchronous course that has that specific date and time where you log into your course and meet with your instructor, it's going to live under the central campus. So I'm going to do both, but I'm going to start with distance learning just because it's on top. Once you filter by location, at this point, you can see we are showing our spring 21 term. So you will want to go ahead and pick fall so you can again narrow it down to the October 8-week classes. All right, once you filter both of those, you can go over to your class information here and just click on the drop down arrow and retrieve that information. All right, so again, I mentioned start and end dates. This is where you're going to find that information. Also, one of the things you're looking for is seat availability. So if you look at these two first, you notice they both say 0. So neither one of those are going to be available for you to add them. But if you keep scrolling down, you'll notice there are seats in classes. You just need to keep looking through them. I'm going to keep this on the screen right now. If you can look at this information, you can see it runs from October 19th to December 11th. So it is financial aid eligible. It's a distance learning online lecture, face-to-face, online no face-to-face, excuse me. So online lecture. This one has Professor Forbes. This one has Professor Gass. So as you can see, a lot of this information is the same here other than the seat being available and the instructor being different. So if you're looking at this, this is how you read it so you can kind of tell what you're getting yourself into as far as the class start and end dates and who you're going to be working with. Now, as you can see, there are quite a few sections and you can keep scrolling down to see what's available. If there's a professor you've heard about that you want to take, you can search by instructors and you can filter it down to that level. I like to keep the filter a little bit open so that it does give me a good offering, a good selection. All right, so that's the distance learning courses. As you can see, there's quite a bit on tap for you guys. I'm going to go ahead and unfilter it and go ahead and select Central Campus this time. So now we're going to look at it and we're going to see, all right, what is out there? So for the fall second 8 weeks, you'll notice that there is a class running from 10/24 to 12/12. Again, financial aid eligible because it's ending in 2020. It has a start date, it has a time, and a day of the week. So when you're looking at the class, this is the important information so that you can tell if it fits into your schedule. So this one runs on Saturdays, 10 a.m. to 11:20 a.m. You'll notice this information here, that synchronous, that's what I've been talking about. Those courses are going to have that commitment to that time that you're seeing over here in the middle, where you're going to be logging into your classroom from home at 10 a.m. on Saturdays. And then the instructor here information. All right. So that is filtering and searching for classes. So again, remember, always filter. My two go-tos are location and fall. I'm going to just open that up one more time so you can see the locations.
Ava?
Uh-huh.
I'd like to make a comment for all individuals watching this. We will be posting this video in YouTube as well as in the CTC website. And it's also being currently streamed live to the CTC Facebook page. The process, if you need to watch this video more slowly in the future or take it step by step, definitely look it up in either YouTube or our Facebook page or in the Facebook Live options so that you can take it step by step and make sure that when it's time for you to register, you can follow each step as the same way that you're actually displaying it right now.
Correct. Absolutely. If you need to, great thing about that is you can pause as I'm going through the steps and follow along if you're doing so on your device as well. So again, the locations, those are so important. The distance learning is all classes that are 100% online. So those courses have no commitment to a date and a time where you have to log in and be in front of your computer. And so there, you log into your course online, you follow the instructions put out by the professor, turn in the assignments by the due date assigned, and continue on in your work, but no commitment to a date and time. So that's the distance learning location. The central campus, when you select just central campus, it's going to show you courses that have that time commitment, and it's going to tell you exactly what that time commitment is for that course. So those are our locations. And while we are talking primarily about the second 8 weeks here in the fall, we want you to register for those if there's something that you need to take and you can get it taken care of this semester. But just to note, as I mentioned earlier, we do have our 2021 spring term loaded at this point. And so if you wanted to look at that schedule, you can look at it right now. And starting on Monday, the same day that the second 8 week classes start, Monday the 19th, you'll actually be able to register for spring. So spring registration, just to put that plug out there, it opens on Monday as well. We recommend you register as early as possible to get the classes that you want and get everything settled on your schedule for spring, and then no stress later on. You can finish out your fall semesters, enjoy the holidays, and be ready to go. Okay. And we're available. Again, I'm going to be putting up the PowerPoint in a moment as well. And I'm going to show that last screen I had with the contact information again, because that is, if you have any questions about going through this process or setting up your schedule, that's the area you can reach out to get assistance. So now I'm going to move over to, just give me a moment here. I forgot to log out. It's going to go slow. There we go. It's thinking. So when you go to, and I'm going to go ahead and sign out and start from the beginning. I apologize. It just wouldn't let me log out and go back. Once you're on our webpage, it's going to, of course, we're on WebEx, so it's really, really laggy. So we're just going to watch that. Once you're on our homepage, it's going to allow you to go to that student tools where we went to Web Advisor. And there's also a link, keep hovering over it. There's also a link in here for student forms. So if you're not able to register online, if you get a block or something happens and you're like, I don't know why it wouldn't let me into that class, you can go down here and you can go to eForms. And once you log in, you can actually fill out a registration form. And I'm going to log in as me, but you would log in as yourself. And it's going to start with your username, your C, and then your student ID username. So when you log in, you're going to see the same thing here. You're going to see the inbox, your activity, and your forms, and anything that you drafted. So when you log into forms, this is where you can go find the registration form. So I'm going to go straight there. And we have a lot of forms as, and I have a lot of forms as an employee, but you're going to see student forms. But when you get here, even in the student forms, there's a lot of those. So I recommend just the easiest thing to do is to search. So start searching for registration. Once you do that, it's going to pull up any forms with that keyword. And so the registration form for classes is Texas and distance learning registration. So this is for any classroom or any online course, okay? Once you click on it, it's going to pull up to the right and you're going to see, it's going to fill in, I'm not a student, so it's not doing this for me, but for you, it's going to fill in your ID and your name. I put in my name, yay. You're going to fill out anything that's missing. And then you're going to go down to student schedule and you're going to select what you want. So if you're looking and say it's Monday and you missed registering for a class and you want to add it, you can select the term, which for Monday would be fall. And then let's just say it's an online course. We're going to choose distance learning. And then you're going to go and find that said course. So this time, let's just search for history. Here, everything's alphabetized, but you can still do that keyword. So I just typed in the letter H and it pulled me to the first H class, which is history. So you can select history. And then once you select the section, scroll down a little bit more. Once you select the section, anything that has an available seat is going to show. Now, it does do it in a weird order. So as you can see, it pulled up a November start date first, but there's also October as well. So just look and find the start date that you want. And if you're not sure of the instructor, you can go do a search on WebAdvisor to find that course section. Once you pull it, you select which course you want, you add it for registration, and then it puts it down here in the area. You have to go through that search process and click the add course for it to stick on the form and be on there when you submit it. When you can select up to 4 courses on this form. Once you do that, you can, once you finish, you will go down to the very bottom. You want to read all this information. It's important. It's reminding you about that this is submitting it to another office, that that'll be processed as long as there's still seats in the class. And then you're going to select where you want it to go in the destination. Anybody submitting it in Texas wants to go ahead and send that to Central Records and Registration. So the Central Records -REG is going to be your destination, and then you would simply hit the submit button. Once you do that, it is immediately in their inbox and they process them in the order received. So you would get a notification once that form was processed that it was added, and you can also watch your WebAdvisor account to see if the class has been added there as well. But it would also be an email notification. So that is eForms. All right, I'm going to go ahead and go back to my PowerPoint and stop sharing my web browser. And takes just a second. All right, so now that we're on the web browser again, I want to leave up this information again for just a moment. Again, like Mariceli mentioned, you're going to be able to go back to this video and go through any of these steps with me as we go through the process. And you're going to be able to look at all of that and start and pause the information. But I wanted to just make sure you guys definitely have our contact information, our phone number, 526-1226, our live chat link, and our web link that goes straight to our page. So simply ctcd.edu/advising. And so that's going to give you all the links to live chat, our phone information, our email information, and also our online appointment scheduling. So at this point, I'm going to go ahead and share the screen and time with some of my advising staff. So I'm going to go ahead and introduce Richard Lewis, and he's going to go over some other information so that I stop talking. Take it over, Richard.
So hey, my name is Richard Lewis, and today I'm just going to talk a little bit about the processes for changing your degree plan. So you can change your degree plan whenever you like, as many times as you would like. But before you change your degree plan, I would highly recommend getting with an academic advisor and just discussing your options. When you change your degree plans, one of the major things to be mindful of is your funding source. So if you're using financial aid or VA benefits, a degree plan change can really affect what classes are eligible for funding. So for this reason, you may want to wait till the end of the semester to change degree plans. Another thing to be mindful of is that the degree plan change is going to be in your best interest, that it aligns with your career goals and things of that nature. So when you do get with an academic advisor, we can look at your account, make sure you're maximizing your earned credits. And if you do plan on transferring to a four-year university, we can just make sure you're on the right degree, and all the classes that you're taking now are going to benefit you in the future. So students can also take the initiative and explore some of their options on their own. So when you get on WebAdvisor on our Eagle self-service, there's a feature called My Progress that allows you to look at your active degree, see all the requirements you currently need, and then see what classes will satisfy those sections. But if you're interested in a change and you're not ready to make the commitment, you can also look at prospective plans, and that'll just show you what the new requirements would be for a degree plan. So if you do plan on changing your degree, you can contact us at academic.advising@ctcd.edu. or you can set up an in-person appointment and then we can just take it from there. Next, I have my coworker, Linda, and she's going to talk to you more about our health science programs.
Well, hello, everybody. My name is Linda McCottrell. I'm the academic advisor for our Department of Health Sciences. Department of Health Sciences have the nursing programs available, the RN and the LVN program. Technically, we call the RN program the ADN program. We also have EMS programs, which is our EMT paramedic, which is a certificate in our EMT AAS program. We also have our medical laboratory technology and our histology and phlebotomy programs, as well as massage therapy, which is coming up very, very soon. A lot of students are interested and can't wait for that program to get started. These are all departmental approved programs, meaning that in order to get accepted into the program, you have to be approved by the department. There's also prerequisite requirements as well as other requirements such as documentation, immunization records, and things like that that you will need to provide for those departments before you are able to get accepted into those programs. And if you're interested in any of these programs, just reach out to me. We can get you going and get you started for spring semester. Sometimes the process is pretty quick. Sometimes it may take a little longer because you need to acquire those required documents. But if you contact us right away, we can get you started and get you set up to start taking classes for spring semester. I'm going to give you back to Ms. Eva Hutchins.
Thank you, Linda, and thank you, Richard. I appreciate that. So I just want to kind of wrap up and speak about academic success overall. If you're in the middle of your semester right now and you're having any sort of struggles whatsoever, we want to make sure that we address that as soon as possible. So if you have any questions and you're not sure, where do I go? Well, your advisor can be your first line of defense. So reach out to us. We might not solve what's going on for you. We might, it depends on what the issue is, but we're definitely going to point you in the direction you need to go. So some of the resources that we might be providing to you are our academic studio, where tutoring is available. So I've listed their contact information on this screen as well, their phone number and their email. They do provide virtual tutoring right now, and so that can be a great resource for you. We don't want students to struggle in their courses, and we want you to reach out if you need that help. So it's just maintaining that 2.0 GPA requirement to graduate, which is a requirement. If there's any issues going on, we want to make sure we address those as quickly as possible so that can be maintained and move on. And then one of the other things that happens along the way is that probation policy. And so we do have that minimum standard of 2.0 to graduate. So when I talk about the academic probation, we're talking about that. But you might have heard it in reference to your funding. So GI Bill, VA, financial aid, they've got requirements as well to be eligible to use that funding. You might have to talk to that specific department to find out what the specific criteria is. It can vary from the academic side to the funding side. So we might be telling you information pertinent on the academic side to make sure we're giving you the resources that you need and maintaining that progress. But there might be another factor going on in the financial aid side. So you want to reach out to the appropriate department and talk to them if you feel like you're in danger of anything of that nature. So again, we know it's the middle of the semester and hopefully everybody's just doing wonderfully and going along. But if there's anything going on right now that is you're worried about your grades or anything of that nature, you want to reach out. If you're not sure who to reach out to, I always recommend the instructor first if it's related to specific coursework. But if you're just not sure and you have a scenario going on, you can always feel free to call us, email us, make an appointment, sit down with your academic advisor and talk to them about it so that you can get pointed in the correct direction. And so that's pretty much all we have today. I don't know if any other questions have come in, so that's why I moved it off of that PowerPoint so I could see the information that's been going on. And turn it over to Araceli if she has anything on me.
I don't have any. Can you kind of discuss the whole, when can you do classes online and night school at the same time?
Oh, sure, absolutely. So that was a question that came in earlier before we were live. And so absolutely, it's a great way, like I was mentioning before, to make sure that you have an appropriate schedule that works for what's going on for you. So if you're working full time and you want to take some face-to-face courses, meaning that face-to-face virtual with your instructor, there might be night times. We do offer classes at night. We have that Saturday course that I showed you earlier on the Web Advisor search. So it could be that a weekend works for you. But filling in your schedule with an online course that doesn't have a time commitment is a great way to make sure you have the schedule you want to progress in your academic career, but also still continue to work or do life, whatever the case may be, in order to maintain all of those different things. All right.
Another question that just came in, how do you find what class you still need to take on in the Web Advisor? And I think that's about what like Richard was talking. If maybe you can kind of, I don't know if there's a way that you can show something or kind of explain it a little bit more.
I'm going to let Richard go through that process and talk about that. And we can definitely send out information to a student. I'm unable to log in at this moment as a student and show you what that looks like, but Richard can go through like how you get to that.
Let me turn my light back on.
It's blocking back.
Oh, okay. So I do believe the question was, how do you find what classes you need? So when you log into Web Advisor, you'll want to get to where it says Eagle Self-Service, and then after that, you can click where it says Student Planning. And then after you click Student Planning, it'll give you some options, and what you want to click is My Progress. And then that'll bring up the digital version of your degree. You'll be able to see a lot of things on there, like your approximate completion. So it'll show you how many credits you need for your degree, how many you've completed. It'll let you know about your GPA, what catalog year you're in, and all that good stuff. As you scroll down through the page, you'll start to see the sections required for your program. So it may say communication sections or mathematics sections. As you look into that, it'll let you know what classes specifically will satisfy those requirements. So that's what you can be using to figure out what classes you would need for your degree.
And again, if that, you can come back to this video later and listen to Richard walk you through that again. You can reach out to us. We can send you a resource that shows you screenshots of how to get to that from home. Another question that came in to me privately was kind of a scenario question. If someone feels like they're in danger of not passing a course, is it too late for them to drop the course? And if they can, what is the process? So it depends on the start and end date of the course if you can withdraw. Taking a W is less impactful to your GPA than failing the course. W does not affect your academic GPA. Again, I mentioned financial aid being different. It can affect financial aid. So you want to talk to them about what failing or a withdrawal grade would do to you. But it depends on if the class, if we're still in the withdrawal period. So that information lives online, but if you can't find it, the easiest way is to call us or email us and ask us, and we'll look up your schedule and let you know. The way to drop will also provide you that information if you are reaching out to us, but it also lives in e-forms. There's a withdrawal form. So instead of going to a registration form, you can go log into e-forms and click on the withdrawal and fill that out. And I can move over to that if that would be something y'all would be interested in, and be able to walk y'all through that. So let me address a few more questions that have come in, and then I'll move over to that. So someone mentioned not being able to get an actual person on the phone. And they're, I don't know which office you're calling. We do have a lot of offices on campus where they're high volume pretty much throughout the year just because of the nature of what we're doing. Right now, if you call the 1226 number, if you don't get an answer, it means that they're already on the phone and they're going to reach back out to you. So the best thing that I can recommend is leave a message. If you've already done that and haven't, if you could message us privately with the information about what you've been calling, because we can check into what's been going on. But again, I always hate to hear that students haven't been able to get an answer on the phone, but it can vary based on the time of the year and the office that you're going into. There's another question to set up. to set up an account, you would just need to sign up on the website and meet certain requirements before making a student account. The way you get a student account is by applying to CTC. So if you haven't done that, that's the first step. So let me just go ahead while I'm on here, go ahead and share my internet browser again. Going to take it a second to load one more time. And I'm going to go back to our homepage. So ctcd.edu is our URL. And then you can hit that apply now button to fill out an online application. As I mentioned before, I'll go ahead and show you the e-tree for withdrawing if that was something that you needed to do. So on the forms page, take out the search for registration and start typing withdraw. So there's a student application for withdrawal. Woo, I hit the wrong thing, you guys. So once you have that open, you can it's going to again populate your information, and then it's going to allow you to choose from your schedule. So I'm not registered for classes, so it's not popping anything up. If you're registered for a class, it's going to ask you which one you want. You select that, click withdraw, fill out the reason, and acknowledge the rules. And there's a link to our withdrawal policy, because that is important for you guys to know what's going to happen financially and academically. And so it's going to give you information at that link. And then it goes to the same office. The Central Records and Registration will process that for your account and communicate with you once it's completed. So that's the withdrawal form. So if there was that scenario where you're in danger of that having that happen, that's something, again, you can discuss it with your academic advisor. You can discuss with the financial aid office and talk about those scenarios before you make the decision. But if it's something that you ultimately decide is the best thing for you, that can happen, and you want to fill out this form. All right, I'm going to go back to here. All right, so another question came up. I just want to make sure I'm going in order here, you guys. Bear with me. Someone is asking to email me what classes I need. I've looked and can't figure it out. Is that coming in from Facebook, Mariceli, that question that you pasted?
Yeah, I asked her to DM us through Facebook, and she said she just did, so I'll be forwarding that to you shortly.
Great. I was going to just make sure where it came from so we could get that information out to whoever asked that question. Great.
But can you also mention that you guys can do that through your email? Like, you have your emails that people can contact you.
Yeah.
You can definitely get back to them on that as well.
Let me share my PowerPoint one more time. If you're looking at this right now, are y'all seeing my PowerPoint?
Yes.
Okay, so yes, it does say at the top, need help registering, but also we're a multi-service office. So if you're needing any of that kind of assistance, this is the information. So if you're needing help figuring out your degree plan and what's left, this is all these methods, whichever one you want to do, it's your choice. We're going to help you in whatever way you reach out. Biggest thing though, guys, if you email us, make sure you include your information. A lot of students email us and they email from their personal account. If you're emailing from your CTC student email, we can identify who you are because those are unique. But if you just email us and you just say, hey, can you answer this question, but we don't know who you are. And then if you're, we need to know who specifically you are. So we need some information. If you don't know your CTC ID, that's fine, but make sure you put in your birthday. You put in your birthday, we can pull your specific account because we always have to look at your information specifically to answer those questions. So let me see if I can. Pulling up this chat window while I leave this up so I can look at the chats as well. Anything else come in on Facebook?
I don't see anything else at this time. But there's been some really great questions.
Absolutely. It's been a lot of great participation. I just want to really thank Linda and Richard again for joining us. Is there anything y'all want to share as a last call out for students? These are, by the way, I just want to mention before I start talking if they want to. Richard and Linda are two of 8 advisors where you can make appointments to meet with them face to face. So whether you're meeting with those two or a different one, or if you want to meet with someone you met with before, I just want to just put out how great and wonderful all of them are, and they're going to make sure they do the absolute best to help you with whatever your questions are. All right. How long does it take for financial aid to let your appeal be approved? Your appeal. That is not a question, since I'm not financial aid, that I can answer. Unfortunately, it varies based on your specific situation. If it's been more than a week, I would say I would definitely just reach out, contact them, and ask them the status. But I can't give a specific on that, unfortunately.
I think I'd like to ask if each of the advisors, maybe what's the one question that everybody asks that should be like a simple answer, but you continuously get that same question over and over again. If there's something, because sometimes we have individuals that ask that same question over and over again, and you're like, okay, well, I could almost write it out already, because sometimes I know that happens.
I'll definitely say that happens. And while Richard's getting his light back on and they're thinking of that, I'm going to tell you mine is usually about something to do with the registration process. And I understand why, like, that's definitely not unusual, because you register 2 or 3 times a year potentially, because you're registering for semesters. And it's a difficult, when you're not doing something every day. We do it every day. So for us, the answer looks easy. But for students, they're not going through that process all the time. So one thing I'll tell you, like, for me, I can just go boom, boom, boom and rattle it off. But, sometimes I tell the students now, if you need me to slow down or anything like that, because it's not something they're familiar with. So usually to do with the registration process, it's the most repeated question. But if Richard and Linda have thought of something else to add in, I'm going to let them do that.
I did think of one. A lot of times when students are changing their degree, they are going to a different, 4-year university or something like that. So they typically ask, what classes will transfer and things of that nature. While we do have some resources to say what classes will transfer to us as, one of the best resources we use for students trying to transfer within the state of Texas, let me emphasize that, is a website called tccns.org. And what that is the Texas Common Core numbering system. And you can basically just look at a list of schools offered by, on this, what's the platform, I guess to call it. And you'll be able to see the schools, compare the schools, and see a list of the classes we offer that will transfer to each school. So our English 1301 will be on there, and it'll show what it'll transfer to Texas State University as. So that way you can get a good idea of what classes would transfer on your own. And then I would still advise getting with our school and their school just to make sure that that information is correct.
And I listed, that's a great resource, and I put that link in the chat.
One of the questions I get, and is related to the Department of Health Sciences, is that a lot of students ask if they have to complete the prerequisite courses before applying for the specific program that they're interested in. You do not have to wait till the prerequisite courses are completed to apply for, let's say, for instance, the ADN program. You can apply for the program first and then work on your prerequisites and the other requirements, and just make sure that you have it all done by the deadline date.
And Linda, when they're working with that department and they've applied and they're working on, step 1, 2, 3, whatever, they can keep in communication with that department to say, I've completed this, now I've completed this, because it's a step-by-step process, right?
Absolutely, yes.
That's great. Awesome. There are some more chats. Hold on just one second. I'm going to have to make that bigger. Oh. So that question that came in from the Facebook comments is where I'm assuming that came from about the veteran issues going on. I'll definitely pass that along. I'm going to actually go ahead and copy that information right now. That's not something in advising that I can address. That's coming from different sources and what we can do through federally mandated guidance on everything that's affecting the VA funding due to COVID, but I'll definitely pass that up the chain.
That's all we have on Facebook right now.
Okie doke. All right. Well, I hope this has been informative. I hope this has been helpful for some of your students that are out there on the Facebook world, and they are hopefully able to address that. If you, again, our contact information is still on the screen. Reach out to us if you have something specific or if you missed the opportunity to ask a question here, and we'll get back with you and help you get started. And hopefully you're in the middle of your semester and continuing on into the next phase of either a second 8-week course or moving into spring registration. And we'll definitely be doing this again before spring registration starts as well later on in the year. Hopefully able to keep doing these so that we can reach out to our students, virtually in this new world of doing things. So I will sign off for now. Mariceli, is there anything else on your end? I'm not sure.
She's probably fielding a question or taking care of something, but no, I think that's everything. We truly appreciate you, Richard, Linda. Thank you.